They didn't throw him out. They did something worse. They looked right through him. When Danny walked into that lobby, conversations didn't stop. They just continued without him, like he was furniture, like he was air. He wore simple clothes, held a delivery folder under his arm, and carried the kind of calm that only comes from a man who already knows how the story ends. The security guard stepped forward and blocked him, politely but firmly. "Service entrance is around the side." Danny nodded slowly. "Thank you for telling me." A few employees nearby smirked. One of them lifted a phone and started recording because they thought this was going to be funny, an ordinary humiliation, another nobody put in his place. What nobody in that lobby understood was that in less than 60 minutes, every single person in that building would answer to him. 3 years before that morning, Danny had applied to this same company for a junior analyst position, entry level, modest salary. You wasn't asking for much. He never got an interview, not a call, not even an automated email. Later, through a contact on the inside, he found out why. The internal rejection note had exactly one line: "Does not match brand image." Not his test scores, not his experience, his face. His closest friend asked him, "Are you going to fight it? Report it?" Danny was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "No, I'm going to build something they can't reject." He saved that note, not as a wound to keep reopening, but as a compass. Some people spend their lives arguing with the door that closed on them. Danny decided to build a different building entirely. He worked nights in logistics, days in planning, weekends learning finance alone at a kitchen table with cold coffee and no applause. He started with one borrowed truck and a rented storage room. A partner warned him, "You're growing too fast. It's a risk." Danny replied, "Staying small because you're afraid is the bigger risk." 3 years later, his firm quietly supplied over half the distribution chains this company depended on every single day. Shipments, timelines, entire operations running through him. They never once looked up his name. Real power doesn't announce itself. It just makes itself necessary. The floor manager arrived and made sure the whole room could hear him. "Delivery personnel shouldn't be in the main lobby. It affects client experience." Danny responded quietly, "Could I wait inside? It's quite hot out there." The manager smiled, the kind that isn't really a smile. "Rules exist for a reason." "Yes," Danny said. "They show exactly who they were written to protect." The manager laughed it off. The crowd enjoyed it. He completely missed what Danny had just said. Power always feels most solid right before it collapses. Near the crowd, a young employee named Marcus stood watching, jaw tight, hands uncomfortable. He whispered to a coworker, "This doesn't feel right." "Not our problem," the coworker shrugged. Danny noticed Marcus, not with anger, but recognition. He had been that person once, the one who felt wrong in his stomach, but stayed silent because speaking felt too costly. Silence isn't neutral. It's a choice. Unfair systems survive not because of the people causing harm, but because of everyone who decides it's not their problem. Danny checked his watch. 2 minutes. At exactly 9 a.m., every phone in the lobby buzzed at once. "Mandatory leadership assembly, main lobby, immediate." The manager's posture snapped straight. His smile disappeared. His voice shifted. "All staff, assemble now." He moved to the center of the lobby. So did Danny, and this time nobody stepped in front of him. Nobody redirected him. Confusion had replaced confidence, and that shift showed in every body in the room before a single word was spoken. 2 senior directors walked in fast, the kind of walk that means the meeting already started. They scanned the lobby for 1 second, then walked directly to Danny. "Mr. Danny, thank you for coming personally. We appreciate the punctuality." The lobby made no sound. The recording phone slowly lowered. The guard stepped back 2 steps without being asked. The manager stood frozen, his brain running calculations it was never prepared to make. Respect had arrived, but it hadn't come for who they expected, and it was already too late to pretend they hadn't been part of what just happened.
One director turned to the staff. "Effective as of 9 o'clock this morning, controlling ownership of this company has been transferred." A pause that filled the room with dread. "I'd like to introduce your new majority owner." He gestured toward Danny. No music, no applause, just a room full of people recalculating every smirk, every comment, every moment from the past hour, all at once. The manager's lips parted. Nothing came out. Danny looked around once, calmly, and nodded. That was the whole moment. When power is real, it doesn't need a speech. It just needs to be seen.
Danny spoke first. No raised voice, no edge. "Who is responsible for visitor experience and lobby conduct?" The manager stepped forward. "I oversee lobby operations." Danny held his gaze. "Then you'll help redesign it from the ground up." He then turned to the full staff. "Starting today, blind recruitment across all departments. No photos, no appearance filters, skills first, character second, nothing else is relevant." Murmurs moved through the room. Someone whispered, "That changes everything." Danny looked over. Yes, that's exactly the point. Marcus stepped forward from the crowd, slowly, clearly difficult. "I watched what happened. I knew it was wrong, and I stayed quiet. I'm sorry." Danny looked at him with something close to respect. "Courage is a habit," he said. "You can start building it at any moment, including this one." Then the manager approached, voice stripped of all confidence. "Sir, I want to apologize if I gave any impression of—" Danny raised one hand gently. "Apologies matter most before consequences, not after. You won't be terminated. You'll be reassigned to customer complaint resolution and empathy training. You'll hear their stories. You'll learn to listen before you speak." A pause. "That's your correction, not your punishment. There's a difference."
The staff had expected firings, anger, revenge. Instead, they got discipline with direction, accountability without cruelty. One director leaned toward the other and whispered, "This is what leadership actually looks like." "Most people in his position would have made this about the pain," the other replied. "He's making it about the future. Revenge returns you to the moment that hurts you, again and again, but never moves you past it. Reform does something revenge never can. It changes what happens next." Later that afternoon, alone in his new office, Danny reached into his wallet. He unfolded a small piece of paper, soft at the edges from years of being carried. One line. He could recite it without looking. "Does not match brand image." He held it quietly, not with pain, not with triumph, with something harder to name. Gratitude, maybe. Release. "You were completely wrong," he said softly, "and you had no idea how much you were helping me." He dropped it in the wastebasket, not because he was done with the story, because the story was done with him. He walked to the window and looked out at the city, not as someone who got revenge, but as someone who outgrew the need for it. He didn't close the door on them. He closed the door on who he used to be. And that is the hardest, most important thing any person can ever do.